Hello, my friends. We have no internet. The spouse finally decided to cut it because we didn't have enough money to keep paying the late fees. $20 every other month. And it's a wonderful thing because it will help us all to concentrate. Today, we all went to the library and used the internet. It's a hassle, but it's better. The spouse complained that, one, I don't cut the grass. Why don't you cut the grass, Daniel? I'm not able to answer her. For one, she doesn't stand still to hear my answer. And the second reason is, I don't cut the grass, spouse, because anything I suggest, such as let's get rid of the grass, at least in the backyard, and put sand. I mean, we already have sand, just get rid of the grass. She says no. If I tell her, please let me homeschool my children, she says no. If I tell her, please read with me the Bible, she says no. If I tell her, please help me teach my daughter to do chores and let my daughter do dishes with me, the spouse says no. So she can cut her own grass. Then the spouse went to Walmart with grandma and the daughter, came back with a bunch of groceries, and the neighbor, a young man, put all the groceries inside the house for us, and the spouse says, why don't you help, Daniel? I don't help, spouse, because I don't want to see the Coca-Cola cans. I don't want to see the juices that have so much sugar. I don't want to see the water bottles that so many you buy, and you bought a $900 machine over there so that our water would taste better. Now, I know you need to still buy the filter, but you bought the softener machine. And when I say I want a skylight, and you say no. But of course, she didn't stand still, so I didn't answer her. I did open the door for the young man and for everybody else. Ooh. What else did we do? I played basketball with my son. That's when they arrived with the groceries, so then I played basketball with my daughter. But with her, I didn't play the game. I just rebounded for her because of two reasons. With my son, gosh, we talk and we have fun. So it's fun playing basketball with him. With my daughter, the other day after I played basketball for 15 minutes, I told her to do Tai Chi with me. And she said, I knew you were going to ask me to do it. And she did do it. We just did the warm-ups, like I breathe in, breathe out, those exercises. No touching. No push hands, no applications, none of that, because well, gosh, it's so easy for her to fall down, and if my hand gets stuck on her hair, she starts crying and all that stuff. If she were a boy, we would say she is moody and well, there are no positive terms to describe a boy that complains about everything. I'm reading the book The Power of Concentration by Dumont, and I enjoy it. Listening to it on LibriVox with this iPod. I read the proverb, get wisdom, and or buy wisdom, and I substituted buy books, buy knowledge, get wisdom, get books, get knowledge, and that's what it means. You see, you can tell an ignorant person to get wisdom, and he won't know how to get it. So the trick to it is get books, get knowledge, read biographies, and you will see how in this book, The Power of Concentration, Dumont says that a person that has a high intelligence will accomplish little or nothing if he does not have the mastery of his will or willpower. You must, and he puts two runners as an example. One will win, and he doesn't have the longer legs, but he has more determination, more willpower. Even if it's just for the race, what led up to the race? For a year or 2 years or 5 years, this guy has been training his body. Or for most of his life, he has been training. So you can only accomplish something if you are able to concentrate. And to concentrate, I was going to make a video about how do you change a tire. You have to focus on what you're doing. Or the best one is the hammer and the nail and the carpenter. Let's say that our carpenter is hammering a nail. He has to concentrate on and hit that nail just right, or else he could hit his finger and cause pain. You have to concentrate on what you're doing. My son didn't want to sleep with me tonight. Another way of putting it, he wants to be in the house. I drive him too much. Now, I say that I push him, but what actually happens is we haven't, like all week practically, except maybe 2 videos, we only read a book, the Bible, and well, we're reading 3 books together. We're reading the Electricity book, the Conquer Your Fears ebook by the Family on Bikes that went from Alaska to Argentina in 3 years. And we've got the other Bible book right here in my hand, Gold and Honey Bible. But the boy just, what happens is the school sends it back to me and he's exhausted. And so that's the problem I'm having. Yeah, he could understand intellectually that he needs to learn about electricity so that he'll have money later on. However, the school, what are they doing right now? They're into Grimm's fairy tales and They're into other topics. I do have Grimm's Fairy Tales on the iPod also. However, the books at school have pictures and things like that. Alright. Talk to you later. Have a beautiful life. My daughter and my son memorized it. He said, you told your daughter, Daniel, have a nice life. And she answered you, you also have a nice life. And then, Daniel, you answered her, if you want me to have a nice life, then be in it. Ha 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 ha. So my mother is moving out. I think my mother was the one that told me that she gave the spouse $100. And the spouse was the one that told me that my mother had given her $500 for the last 3 or 4 or 5 months. But now everything is changing. And the spouse is so strange, because when I told her to rent this room, about 7 years ago, when we first moved in here, she said I was crazy. You're crazy. You're going to bring a strange person to live with us? I said, it doesn't have to be a strange person. It could be my mother at the beginning, my aunt, your dad, some other relative, some friend. And then we even had strangers, and they were kind. And finally, what happened here was, I'm in this room, and now the spouse wants me to get out of this room so that she could rent it. So I said, fine. When you help me move the things, I'll move it. And now I don't tell her, you're crazy, you want to rent this room? I don't tell her that. I'm more polite. I would just say I disagree with you, but I don't tell her, I don't do name calling. Except ruthless, inconsiderate, ignorant. I don't use the word stupid, I use the word ignorant to describe her. She mentioned that she was going to cut the phone, or she cut it because, well, they cut the phone. The telephone company, internet company cut the phone. And then the spouse says, Daniel doesn't answer the phone. I'm never home because she's working. And she doesn't really call anyone anymore because her friends know her situation. Her friends have their problems. Her family knows her situation with me, and they know her problems. So she doesn't really call anybody. But now that my mother is moving out soon, apparently, this spouse is coming to me now. Now she understands the value of Daniel, even if Daniel just for babysitting, that's it. She understands. So the only part I didn't like about after the library was they got pizza from the gas station. I saw a dad in a similar to a Cadillac, and he was white, and he left his baby in the car seat while he went to buy his stuff, and he didn't get gasoline. So that tells me that he's not a very good dad. He's a selfish dad. You don't leave your kid in the car. He locked it, turned off the car. My mother argued that when we went to the bank, she couldn't find her ATM card. So my mother told us to wait in the car, but then the spouse turned off the car, already turned off the car. So we all followed, because we're not staying in the car, it's too hot. We all followed grandma into the bank. And then the spouse heard the mother, or my mother, mentioning to the bank lady, tell her, I'm with the in-laws and it's just, I can't find my ATM card. And of course my mother and the bank teller, they have a relationship, they know each other, and the spouse and the teller also know each other because they're usually together. But my mother didn't know that we were all behind her, listening to her. And the teller says, it's alright, I can still help you. Such a sweet person at the bank. The lady that parked next to us at the bank was telling, oh, I forgot now if she was talking to a woman, or appeared to be talking to a woman, or to a man, but she was saying things like, stop controlling his life. He thinks you're controlling it, and it sounds like you're controlling his life. Or maybe I got it backwards, and she said, stop controlling her life. She thinks you're controlling her life. Well, the advice I have is, we all care about each other, and sometimes our advice is not accepted. Like my daughter, she could be the best basketball player in the world. I wouldn't see any benefit to it if she doesn't know self-defense, and if she doesn't know about electricity, mechanics, carpentry, plumbing, sewing, or fixing computers, or some other money skill. Even she's very artistic with drawing and painting. So even if she does develop those skills more, I would be happier. And my son is into learning the Tai Chi Chuan form now, which makes life interesting, because now he wants to go back to the way I was taught, which was warm-ups, then the form, which was difficult to follow, but I'll break it down so that it's easier, the square form. He found the book for Tai Chi Chuan, by the way, the one with the form, 108 movements, Wu style, from the Wu Mountain. And then I would do, after the form, I would do applications, or sort of sparring, push hands, things like that. Alright. For homework, I need to find the movie that had the red and blue collars, where people used to put on a little, it looked like jewelry in their throat, and they were either red or blue, and this would mean that they could mate with each other. The red with the red, the blue with the blue, but they couldn't cross over, or their children would be super muscular and super ignorant or less intelligent. And that was the same plot in Darren Brown's Apocalypse. Yeah, Darren Brown's Apocalypse. So now I need to find in Kung Fu, the series, David Carradine, and the bounty hunter. The name of the bounty hunter, that actor, was in the other red and blue movie where they had to wear those things. I gotta figure out if I'm correct about that actor. Alright, enjoy your life. Thank you.